folks. Welcome to this little chat. My name is Afatchao, and I'm a co-founder and board president for ICPSD.
My name is Whitney Schroeder. I am co-founder and executive director, and please excuse the canine that is joining us today. She'll probably be in and out. But today we are going to talk about our Experiential Learning Program. That's sort of the third and major program that we operate alongside with the ecosystem restoration and the youth community development programs. So Ro, do you want to get into a little bit about what exactly the Experiential Learning Program is?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so pretty excited to talk about this program because, as you said, it's one of three programs that we have, and as such, through the Experiential Learning Program, we're trying basically to provide space and platform for cultural exchange, right? Because we truly believe that the catalyst for social change could come through people working together on a specific project, and as such, ICPSD designed our experiential learning in a way that includes folks traveling from anywhere to our program site, right, to work on projects that have been pre-selected by the communities, right, and those programs basically help the community advance in the way they want to advance, and then those programs represent the priorities of the communities that we work in, and then we bring folks to come and work on hands-on project, right, in order to advance what are the priorities for those communities.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's an important point to highlight is, as we've built partnerships over the years with the communities, there's always demand or requests for projects, and so knowing that we can't do all the things, we try to pair projects with the capabilities and capacity of the partner folks that we're bringing over from the West, and so it's ideally this mutually beneficial situation where the organization is, or the community in Togo is getting support in something that they've needed done in for a long time, or maybe is even a mission critical situation, but then it's also in partnership with folks who are able to participate alongside them. Do you want to talk about some of the projects we've done in the past?
Yeah, before I talk about the projects, I wanted to say that the partnership with experiential learners, right, is critical to those projects, to achieving to completing those projects, because sometimes they might have like a good project, but sometimes we lack the resources to do it. So folks participating in those projects usually will provide some of the support to complete the project, right? And it could be, when we say experiential learning, we provide it for anybody. It could be for groups, group of students, group of colleagues from certain work or job, or it could be for any type of group. It could be for church group. It could be for anything, as long as folks are willing to learn and are open for that cultural exchange that we're talking about, right? Work side by side with the locals, right? Get their hands dirty and they work on some of those projects. So in terms of past projects, I would say that our first experiential learning project that we facilitated was with the University of Idaho. This was in 2016, where we went to Noche, actually, the main community that working in Togo, and then over there we helped basically renovate an orphanage, and it was fun to do. I was a part of that group, and I believe that you came in country at the time too.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit of it.
Yeah, and so obviously, basically what we did was basically to do we did some construction work, we did some carpentry work, we made crepes, we renovated some crepes at the orphanage. We did some painting job. So all in all, we did
kitchen
renovation, refurbished the kitchen, right?
Them.
Exactly.
And a wall that had been crumbling for years.
So yeah, so it was fun to do, and then it was fun to do it side by side with the community members, and obviously also with a professional who were guiding the crew, because we obviously none of us were knew what we were doing really.
Yeah.
So it was good to have some professional guiding us and how to actually complete those projects. So that was our first really hands-on project, and it was something concrete. It was something that the community needed for a long time, and then just one of the things that we did also is to put screens on the windows, because
Oh, yeah.
the mosquitoes have been infesting the area, and then kids were getting sick with malaria and all those stuff, and something as basic as putting screens on the windows could help with that, and we did that effectively, and that helped with cutting down the rates of malaria at the orphanage. So that's a very good project that we work on. Another project that we work on involved the high school from Moscow, basically here. So few students, local high school here. Some of the students traveled to Togo in 2018, some of 2018, alongside their professors, to go and work on work at the nursery, where they actually started a garden and work on projects with us, and then did some work with our seedling on our seedlings at the nursery. That was very impactful on them, and as well as it was impactful on the youth, our youth from Togo as well, because they work together on those projects. And then finally, another project that we work on is basically we work on renovating a grade school in Noche, right? The main grade school it was the oldest, was built during the German colonial time, and so basically we work on we work on that, and then we did a lot of just like we did at the orphanage, we did a lot of painting, updating, and then a lot of bricklaying, and doing all type of work, and then so it was fun to do. But those were critical projects for the community, right? So that we work on. There are other projects that the community wanted to accomplish. Obviously, with COVID happening, we had to stop the experiential learning, and but now we're in the process of actually relaunching, one might say, the project, but hopefully by the end of the year.
We want to have a little bit more robust information up on our website for folks, because Ro kind of mentioned this earlier. We always, the community, it's a community-led project, and we always hire local professionals to guide the project, so you don't have to be, well-versed in any of the activities to participate. There's always a way to lend support. You don't have to be a mason or a carpenter or have those skill sets. The other thing that will come along with, the relaunch is the ability for folks to see how of a, there's a word I'm looking for, but essentially it's all planned out for you. Everything on the ground is ready for you when you get there. Transportation, food, housing, lodging, all of that is taken care of, so that you can just focus on the experience and being present and in that exchange of community and culture that is really the heart of it. Like, the projects that we do are very helpful to the communities. There's a need there, and having people come and essentially donate your time and sweat, and hopefully not much blood, but that's, those are huge impacts on the community in terms of getting the work done. But then there's these other impacts that I would argue are potentially even greater, that come from human connection and something that's just so intrinsic to who we are as human beings, working alongside another person, working with your body and your hands, and that satisfaction at the end of a day, and the connection that comes, even if you don't speak the same language, of laboring alongside another person. There's a connection there at some level, no matter what. Like, I just don't see how there isn't, especially in the context of how we set these up. Which, you want to kind of get into that a little bit of, pre-trip?
So we are very intentional about how we actually plan these programs, because, we've experienced programs where people are thrown out there and try to figure out how things work and stuff. No, we try to avoid that, because for folks who actually have the best experience, we need to make sure that they understand the community that they're going to be working in prior to departing for the experiential learning. As such, we have a pre-departure program that includes anything about anything like, for example, learning about the history of the community, the cultural norms, the economy, how the society over there works, right? And be able to prepare folks here before they go, and also make sure that they understand the expectations that a lot of folks go on those type of trips and thinking that they're just gonna go change the place overnight. No, you're not gonna change anything. If anything, you might get changed before you come back, and that's also a good thing. That's the hope, because when we're talking about these programs, the work is very important. Just like you said, the work is important, but beyond the work, more importantly, what we try to achieve is that cultural exchange, right? So as such, it's very good for folks to folks to prepare well before they go, and that's where we come in and do the pre-departure work with the group, right? Or with the individual going, and then in country we do also in country orientation, and then we do reflections throughout throughout the stay, or throughout the time over there, and then we prepare folks for the return, because as you know, reverse cultural shock could be something, right?
It really is.
Over there, people are very community oriented. I remember when we participate in those programs, we usually eat in groups. We move in groups. We do a lot of things as a group and all those stuff. So when you come back, going back eating alone could be tough. Something that's that simple, right? People don't think about it. Yeah, so
I still have such a very vivid memory of the first time I traveled over to West Africa was to Ghana, which was, we'll get into that full circle experience here, but there was the preparation beforehand, and I think I was at a stage in my life where luckily I entered I was trying to enter the experience without any expectations, which was, I think, really to my benefit, because it just really allowed me to be open and absorb everything that was there, and be present in the experience itself, and not trying to make it something other than what it was. I just let the experience take me, if you will, and because, like Ro was saying, everything's so community, and there's just there's not that overstimulation either. You may think it would be overstimulating having to be around other people all the time, but there's not all the technology and all that stuff over here that, for me and perhaps a lot of other people, is overstimulating in a lot of ways that aren't positive. And so I still have this visceral memory of the first airport we came into stateside, and I think it was it DC?
Yeah, I think it was DC.
I think it was DC,
yeah,
and I just remember us all coming through customs, and it was some atrocious hour, like 3 a.m. or something like that. And just, it was quite enough that it wasn't as jarring, but it felt like almost coming back to a new world in a way, where you're just looking at everything from just a new light, if you will, even if it's subtle. And then as the airport got busier, just being like, oh my gosh, and the pace was another big one for me. There is a beauty in being able to really take time with people, and that community aspect that happens over there was just so powerful for me, and I desired it so greatly coming back to the Western context, especially.
It can be, for me personally, as someone who has been living here for 22 years now, I always look forward to going back there in the summer, because of how slow life can be there. Focus on people and
and
relationship building and those stuff. So I always say that's like my cure for the year. So, but it's doing that so can show you, folks will actually see how society works in other places, right? It's not always the same, but at the same time, it's all human at the end of the day, right? And then when you, like you mentioned earlier, when you work side by side with other folks, and then you share stories, you share meals, you share sweat and all those stuff. All of a sudden, you can understand people better, and it's actually very good for not just building, links or building network between communities and between individuals, but it's also very good in team building, right?
Yes.
Because folks who travel, they end up having like the same purpose while when they go there, and then they work on this project and they share something together, and it can create lifelong friendships, right? And then we've seen a lot of those over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah, I still have a couple folks I'm quite close with and communicate regularly from my first trip over to Ghana. And honestly, that's a part of our origin story. We've mentioned a little bit in earlier episodes about our meeting in Ghana, Ro and I, and how that led to ICPSD, and that was a type of an experiential learning model that we participated in. And so that's where I think, we kind of come full circle in a way. As it might seem strange, is like, when you look at our website, there's like, okay, there's the reforestation work, which is, the foundation of everything that we do. It's kind of our central thing, and the youth program, which is heavily intertwined with the ecosystem restoration. And then there's like, experiential learning, like how is that tied in? Well, this is exactly how, because if you are going to go, try and support communities in other places in the world, it's so valuable and going to be more meaningful to everyone if there's greater connection there, and that connection, that human connection, no matter where you are, connecting with humans in different cultures, different contexts, different belief and even maybe value systems, impacts you in a way. There's a degree of you choosing how it impacts you, but no matter what, you're going to be impacted by it. And I just think that being able to just be human with other humans in whatever way that is central to any sort of work in other countries. Whether you're planting trees or painting walls or anything, there's got to be that human component. Because really, we're all not that different. We all have our complexities. Our cultures have their complexities, and you can watch as many movies or read as many books as you want, but you're just not gonna understand it, or feel it, or have that human connection without being there in person. And I just think that's a very important aspect, especially in a world where a lot of media tends to, intentionally or not, it kind of dehumanizes these complex and nuanced things that are part of just being a human. Nothing's ever so simple, but sometimes it can feel that way when you're over there, because it's like these aha moments of like, they are human just like me, I am human just like them, like we are all kind of walking similar paths, just slightly different contexts.
Yeah, for me personally, as someone who has been living in two different cultures for 22 years now, I live here for the most part, but I traveled back to Togo all the time. I can tell you that I still discover new things over there, right? People will think because I'm from Togo originally, I will know everything about Togo. No, societies change, things change, things move. So I discovered new things about myself. I discovered new things about the culture. I discovered new places that I joke about my student or the group that I take over there sometime. Know more about some of the villages, right? Because they've traveled there through the programming and all those stuff, and for me, sometimes I go, other times I don't. So they learn, so I try to learn new things. So, and as such, I'm this sort of a product of two cultures. And then when I'm in the US and I want to travel to Togo, I'm like, I'm going home. And then when I'm coming back, I'm like, I'm going home. So that's genuine. It's how it is, So
what an incredible thing.
Incredible stuff. And for me, it's a passion to share that culture, the culture over there with other folks as well, people who wanted to know about it. I can talk about them, but you're not gonna have the same experience as going there and experiencing the culture yourself. I can tell you, I took a group of students. I've taken multiple groups of students back over the last course of the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I've taken colleagues from the university, and I can tell you that working on project. There's something about working on project, right? Getting your hand dirty. So your professor hat is down. You're just one of the workers, and then you help, and then you learn about people. You learn people. People are more open. People share stories, and then you end up finding that you have some common interests, and then all those stuff. It's fascinating. So that's why I said that it's a very good experience. The cultural exchange is a very good experience for team building. Right, because you have these people out there in a different culture, and then they develop certain closeness, right? And people discover new things about each other, and then it's fascinating things to do, obviously. So it's all that we're trying to do with the experiential learning. So you discover things about yourself, discover things about other folks in your group, and discover things about the community, and get to network and discover things about the community, and that's what this is all about, right? And obviously, like you mentioned, folks always work on projects, that are important for the community, but they also work on, some of the aspects they get to experience things that ICPSD does on the ground, which is very important as well. And they network with our youth group, which also shows some aspects of learning to our own youth group, and people from here can learn some stuff, cultural stuff from the youth. The youth get to learn from them, and then so yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part is like the work provides the framework, but it's not like it's not the core of what's going on. It is the catalyst to help these human connections really evolve. And we should mention too that a part of the experience is not just all work and eating group meals and stuff. There's also we work a lot of cultural stuff into it. So taking there's the pre context of going over there and learning about the country, but then going over there and making these connections with the actual historical sites that maybe you previously learned about, and that regional context, and having the local historians there share with everyone, our students too. It's a great learning opportunity for our students, because they get to be a part of all the experiential learning programs as well, and so it's they're getting to build this deeper connection with their culture and history as well through this act of sharing it with others. And there's just something really really neat to watch when you're observing that, to see what's going on in both directions there.
So I would urge anybody who could participate in these type of programs to actually, if you have time, you have the resources, and you're willing to do it, either as an individual or as a group, we're here to work with you. Family could be family, we're here to work with you and make it happen. So thank you for your support. We always we can't thank you enough, and then we are very grateful for everything you've done for the organization, and then for believing in us as well, right? And then and thank you on behalf of the communities that we serve as well.
Yeah, we're really grateful for everyone tuning in to these chats. Before I say more, is there anything else you wanted to add about this stuff?
No, I don't
Today's
think so.
topic? Okay. As always, any questions, queries, keep an eye on our website. We'll hopefully have some more in-depth info for these programs rolling out before the end of year, maybe by next spring. And then feel free to always reach out. You're looking at who you'll end up talking to. So we're not, some big organization that you get sent through some communication black hole. It's us. So we hope that that level of intimacy will encourage you to reach out. We are happy to engage with a lot of different ideas. I mean, that's how a lot of this works. The communities come to us with different ideas, and we're over here reaching from, like you said, we've done school groups, we've done individuals, we've had conversations with some folks about, more of like bringing some team members over from a company, things like that. There's no rigid lines here. I mean, aside from we're probably not going to take a huge group of hundreds of people at this point, but, and there's also other reasons for that too, in terms of how the experience plays out for people. So, this is a part of ICPSD that's maybe not as, talked about as much, but is something that we're both very passionate about, have been impacted greatly by, and continue to be. Every time I've been over there and got to witness other people experiencing, these connections and experiences for the first time, it impacts me as well, in great ways. And so, we hope that we can continue to grow and engage, and the long-term goal would be being able to bring folks from Togo over and have it be a two-way exchange. And so thank you.
It'll be fun to bring Lolono.
Yes. The women's co-op we partner with would be incredible. That'd be incredible. So, but yes, thank you again for tuning in this summer. We'll have our final episode will be next week, and next Saturday after this one. And we appreciate you tuning in, and hope you'll do so again for season 2 next summer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
KB